Hello everyone, we just wanted to show you how to
record vocals.
Yes. Microphone. I lost my train of thought.
That's fine.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, thank you. Yes, please like and subscribe. We're having a lot of fun. So let's go over it. We have a brand new microphone. It's a USB microphone. It's nothing fancy, but it's nice. And so we're going to be recording vocals. And so first things first, we have to go to the mixer. I forgot my train of thought. And what we do is I click in any of the tracks in the upper area here. Make sure you don't click any of these glowing buttons, because what will happen is you'll turn things on and off accidentally. So I click here and notice all of a sudden that gets highlighted. Now that you know that's active, I go over to here, and actually once that's highlighted, we hit Control E. That brings up Edison.
Make sure if you're recording to put your the thing my dad's putting his mouth on.
Two things. There is a little speaker button here. You need to turn that off so you don't get an echo.
Oh,
and also we need to go here and select. So I open this up and we turn on the microphone. Now we see audio levels when we're talking. We know microphone is on. Let's make Edison big.
Hello.
Go ahead.
If you're recording, make sure you're not touching the table.
Yes. So what we've done. So every time you tap, it's such a sensitive microphone, just tapping things and making little tiny noises gets picked up.
Can I do it without any noise?
Just barely, yes. Well, it's also on a separate stand, but we're touching, the chair is touching the table's touching the stand, so we have vibration transferring to the microphone that way. But I'll try to be quiet. So anyway, go over there. Who's going to be first? Want to go first? Okay, so what we do is we're going to hit the record button. We're going to put this to now.
Can we also...
No, it's fine. It'll be fine. It doesn't need to be perfect. So yes, you do, with Cardoid microphones, it's best to have each person adjust it and be closer to the microphone than not. So are you ready? So what we do is I usually point at the person and then I click record when we're ready to go. Are you ready?
Okay.
You can go beep-a-doop, 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 boop. Beep-a-doop, 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 boop.
I got a line.
Okay. Are you ready?
I use my boots to go walking over mountains.
All right.
Oh my!
So what I'm going to do is I can double click and it makes a selection. So double click and I'm going to trim out the extra bit of space. The single line means there's no noise. So I'm going to left click and hold and drag it to the left. I'm right clicking and I'm going to say edit, cut.
You can also use the delete key, but sometimes that doesn't work.
Yeah, for some reason we haven't really figured out why that doesn't work, but right clicking and cutting always works. And the thing I like about right click and saying edit and cut is then up in the top here it keeps a history of everything you've done and you can go back step by step. Where that becomes important is what I've been doing to learn about music, because we're not capable yet of making our own music, so I've just been taking other people's music,
but giving them credit,
chopping it up and making mixes out of their music.
Oh, just like that when they're cutting up chicken.
Just like we're cutting up chickens. What she's talking about is we've been going out to the internet and finding natural sounds. So there's a song we just put out called Sound Boy, done by Jabadub. The album is called Sound, and the specific song is called Sound Boy. And to make it kind of more interesting and, you know, to kind of go with the theme of sound, we've included sounds of pounding flour. There were 3 children. There's a giant bowl of flour they were grinding down with sticks. And so you can hear the noise of 3 people pounding into basically a bowl of flour to chop it down.
Yeah.
And so you hear boom, 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 boom. And it meshed up perfectly with the beat of sound, of Sound Boy.
Nice.
And then we also had the sound of cooking chicken. And then made a sizzle, sizzle, sizzle. And then the lady chopping up the chicken made the most rhythmic, interesting, almost like chimes. And so we've incorporated that noise. And so what I'm really on a mission to do is try to find interesting sounds in nature that we can incorporate and modify. Like raindrops. So remember the transitions between our songs. It started out as a drum roll, and I reversed it, and I crossfaded it full pitch, and all of a sudden a drum roll became like a science fiction, like ooh, kind of a weird noise.
Ghost.
Just like a ghost almost. So
You're into science fiction though.
anyway, yes, I do like science fiction. So then we're gonna double click, left click and drag, and we're holding and right click. Well, hold on. First we have to edit and cut. Now we've cut it down to pretty much sound at the beginning, sound at the end, and nothing of dead sound. So over in the upper left, we're gonna left click our save.
There's 2 ways to save it.
Well, here we're doing it kind of a roundabout way. So we're gonna call this mountains.
Yeah, I guess so.
Boots.
Mountain boots. 0, 0.
So what I do is I save it, and that's under samples. And I'm sure there's a much more elegant way to do this because this is kind of silly. I hit save. I go over here again, save sample as. I right click, and I say cut. Then I close that, and I go over to the folder under recorded, which is where I really want to have it because it's easy to get to.
And you search for E.
And then I see the E, and I'm right clicking, and I say open. That's going to open my folder for me. And I right click, and I say paste. And then there the sound. Then the sound went in where I wanted it to. So now
I recorded on the piano.
we should be able to do that. And let's do that next. So then what we're going to do is we have the entire thing here we want to get rid of. I'm right clicking, edit, cut. The entire sound goes away, and we're ready to record our new piece. So this would work over and over and over again. The other thing we like to do is you can drag from a folder. I could drag a sound in to Edison, or I could have
recorded and then drag.
Yeah, so what I do, the first thing I do when I do a, if I'm working on, let's say I wanted to I'm trying to work on a King Tubby mix. So I could bring in the entire song.
Whoa.
Then I roll, watch, this is the entire song, but if I roll my mouse, there's a little wheel on my mouse, I roll it up, and it's zooming in on the song, and I can see the actual sound waves now, the individual sound waves.
But it makes it a lot longer.
So what I do to make my mixes is I will listen to a song, I will let it run, and I'll chop up little pieces, and when I hear a rhythm change, that becomes, I stop it and I chop it.
Okay.
And so that way I can.
You should probably hear it first before you save it.
Well, we're okay. We're just gonna. This was just an example of how you can use the Edison to do a lot of different things. And in fact, there's so many things. I accidentally hit one of these buttons down here, and we're gonna learn about this later. We need to do a whole learning session on just Edison. One of these buttons down here pulls up a graphic equalizer, and you can bring a graph up. And let's say you have a sound that's going across here. You can drag up an equalizer and cut off highs, you can cut off lows, you can make something, you can accentuate certain parts of it, you can cut off other parts of it. So it's this rolling graphic equalizer that can limit what is being heard.
The highlight means you're using it.
So I accidentally found that, and that's a really powerful tool that we're going to have to learn about, because what that can do is really interesting effects during the song. You can cut out the lows, you can cut out the highs, you could just have the mids, you could just have the highs, and you could do a lot of cool things with sound. Okay, who wanted to record? You wanted to record? Okay, let's go turn on the piano.
Let's go turn on our piano. And yet, we turn on the piano. This microphone is very sensitive, yet the piano is not right in front of the microphone.
So yeah, so we need to do a whole video on just connecting the keyboard as a MIDI keyboard. Right now we're having it play a sound out of the speaker. We're in a quiet room with pretty good acoustics, and we're gonna record. It's a big room that's good for not having a lot of echo.
And a very tall ceiling.
Yeah, as small as the house is, it's got very nice tall ceilings. So, Okay, so are we ready to start recording? Okay, you're ready? I'm going to point it. There we go. Okay, and then we know we need to cut off this big loud part where I was talking.
Yes.
And then now you want me to turn off and we can hear it? So what we can do is we're going to bring up the mixer again. We're going to turn off the microphone. Then we can turn up the speaker volume.
Once you see no levels.
Yeah, then you know you've turned it off. Okay, so let's hit.
That's an interesting noise.
Yeah, so you can see it did a pretty good job of recording that actually. It's not bad considering. So what we've done is we are about, I think, 6 or 7 feet away from the piano because the microphone is so sensitive. If you put the microphone too close, you can actually hear the tip tap of your fingers on the keys.
So we don't want that.
Yeah, we don't want that noise. You just want the sound that the keyboard's making. You don't want the tip tap of your fingers. So let's go. We're gonna go again. We're gonna go save sample as. Oh look, it's in recorded now. Hey, look, we can go directly there. Nice. Open up the folder. Let's see, keyboard. We've already done.
Imagine we can actually get. Did you call your friend to learn for banjo or something?
Yeah, I have a friend who plays banjo also. So I have a vision of what I'd like to do. I'd like to create pieces of music that. Well, no, there's a great movie. It's really funny, called Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, and the premise of the movie is that these two people who are not very good musicians eventually create a song that unifies the world. And everybody can put down their differences and not care about religion or skin color or Republican or Democrat, and they just love music and they all dance together to the song. Go ahead. Go ahead.
If you see our new logo, it comes in shirts, mouse pads, cups.
No, it does.
No.
So you're funny. We designed a new logo for our music endeavor here, the kids and all 3 of us. And to thank them, everybody who places an order, we include that as a card. But to thank the kids for their distance learning at home, I got a mouse pads that have the logo, and I got us shirts that have. So we don't sell shirts. Maybe we will someday. Maybe we don't sell mouse pads. But we do have a logo that you can see on the videos, and then also we made a nice little card to kind of advertise the channel. So you're funny. They got shirts and they got mouse pads.
A shirt, it's more like a nightgown.
Well, they're big because even the small is too big on them. But anyway, they got, for their efforts of being fantastic graphic designers, I gave them some mouse pads and shirts, and yes, and we have this fabulous new microphone also. And so instead of hiring a graphic designer, we did a do-it-yourself sketch. Yes. Okay. So anyway, we've already saved it. We're gonna right-click, edit, cut, and then you'd be ready to record another one. Although you would have to remember to go and you'd have to turn back on your microphone. So do you want to? I suppose I could try. Let's see. So I'm thinking that it would be really neat in my jazz rock history class. The way they started the class was they talked about what would be the very first forms of music, and it was kind of vocalizations, right? Even before human beings were making tools like flutes and drums, they must have just been singing. And so we went through a whole thing about call and response and vocalizations, and there's a fantastic artist named DubFX, and he makes his entire beat with his mouth. And so he records a whole bunch of individual little pieces like beep boop ba-doop, beep boop ba-doop, beep boop ba-doop. In fact, why don't we record that? And then he uses foot pedals to record it and play it back. So we're gonna do beep boop ba-doop, beep boop ba-doop. You think you can hit record for me? Let me adjust.
Yes, you definitely need to adjust. You are way too tall. Even for my sister's height, you're way too tall. Okay, tell me when you're ready. Or did we accidentally untighten?
No, it's just okay. You ready? Beep boop ba-doop, 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 beep boop ba-doop. You stopped already? Okay. Oops. Sorry, I shouldn't have put my hand up because that was a signal to stop. It's fine. So the reason I would like to go longer than that is because when you chop something like this up, and so, yes, and when you try to make a beat, the longer the piece, the better, because what happens is when you try to incorporate.
Let's redo that. This time, can I press it?
Yeah, I suppose we could do. So what did I do? Beep boop ba-doop, beep boop ba-doop.
And this time, just keep your hands on your hips.
Yes. Okay.
I did. Okay.
Beep boop ba-doop, 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 beep boop ba-doop. All right.
Nice. That looks long.
So what you want to do is you want to have nice uniform looking pieces. Music is actually beautiful. Not only is it beautiful to hear, but it's beautiful to look at. Look at this. It's like its own form of art.
Is that why they call it
music? Well, I don't know why they call it music, but they call it music. But what's beautiful about it is it makes these beautiful waves. And when you're looking at a long song, it makes such beautiful uniform shapes. And look, it's like a little bird flying, and I mean, it makes all these little interesting shapes.
Bird flying, bird flying, bird flying, bird flying, bird flying. That doesn't really look like.
So if I've done it correctly, if I've done a uniform beep boop ba-doop, beep boop ba-doop, each of these exact. It should look like a picture that repeats perfectly. And you see, I got a little loud there. That was a little quieter here, and so.
Well, that's okay.
It's fine, but I think so. It's really interesting. I'm absolutely amazed at just looking at a graphical analysis of sound. It's very interesting looking. Okay, let me save my thing.
What shall we call it?
Call
it mine.
You know what? We'll go to recorded. I think I have a whole vocals.
Yes, you do.
And we'll call it B boop ba doop. Beep boop ba doop. So hold on. And a really cool thing I found here. Look, if you go File, Save. Ooh, darn. That was an accident. So go File, Save As. It's gonna add a 2 at the end. So let's say I want to make a bunch of them. File, Save Sample As. And you're gonna see what we're gonna do. We're gonna make a song.
Are we gonna make it?
Okay, so now we go to the playlist. So now we have.
Change them up since they're all the same.
Did it even show up? You know, I've been having this problem where I save it.
In vocals.
Oh, it's because it's in vocals. That's why. Okay. No, sometimes it's weird. I swear I've saved it and I go to the folder and it's not there actually. So first things first, we need
to change this up a little bit.
No, we're okay. We're good.
The reason we made 5 is so that way, because if you drag out the same one, it's just gonna, if you change one, it'll change all of the same ones.
Yeah, so what I think I've named it 001 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5, and maybe, you know, professional musicians maybe have 10 of them, because what happens is, let's say you want to have a fade in. You need to have a beep boop ba-doop number 1 fade in, and then
fade out.
Then so let's say let's go play with it a little bit. Well, what if I sound like a chipmunk?
Like a robot.
And what if I do it reverse? And what if we crossfade it? And reverse the polarity. Okay, so now we have bebop badoop, bebop badoop.
Let's have another one.
But then let's go lower on it.
Okay.
Too much?
Quarter. Let's try quarter. That's better. Sounds like a man with a really deep voice.
I think I like that. Make more. We're starting to make a song.
Okay. And let's say we just wanted to go quarter pitch up on this one.
That still makes it look like a sound. Like
okay, so let's play with the mull. So if we go mull and make it longer.
Well, can we make it a lot?
Okay, so let's see what this sounds like. We're gonna take it off pattern, put it on song.
See, we make out there remixes and songs.
More! What are we going to change this with? Or are we going
No, just one normal.
How about 5 is so tiny? How about 5 is tiny? Can 5 be super tiny?
Well, what about if we spread it out a little bit? And then so now you don't hear all of it at the same time.
Yeah, that's kind of a handful.
You were all about the out there music.
What should we do? Can we make 5 tiny?
But do you see how you can actually create, this is maybe not a great example, but by layering sounds, you can create secondary sounds that were never... Okay, hold on. Let's get rid of all of this. That was just for fun. So what you can do is I could record a whole bunch of different vocalizations, they call them. There was a whole, people would be, you'd imagine people had to do a lot of walking a long time ago, right? Because they were walking, following their food supply, and they probably sung to each other to pass the time. So they would do what was called vocalizations. It's probably the beginning of speech, was just making sounds at each other. So anyway.
We're way too tall for her height. Way too tall. Okay, now it's at her height. You want me to go into the mixer?
That's fine. You do it. Did you want to do it?
No, it's fine.
Why don't you do it? Why don't you do it?
I was just wondering.
Just to help. Let's see. View mixer.
I think.
Is the.
Can we do it?
Let's put the volume down. Let's put it on this. Then Control E. Here.
Okay, and you can start recording. Okay, so what's the deal? You ask her, is she ready? And as soon as you're ready to hit record, you need to point at her so she knows she needs to start.
And do not do any.
So the record button is over here.
Oh, let's.
Right, it's a circle.
Now also.
Let me get off there so I don't make noises.
So, what happened last time? Don't do any of this.
Yeah, keep your hands down, because the second you lift your hands up, she's gonna hit the stop button.
That's what happened last time. Anyways, tell me when you're ready. You ready?
Ba ba bee bee boo ba ba.
All right.
Perfect. Let's do that.
I want to
see. I've learned a lot from watching you.
So you right click.
Right click.
Edit.
Edit.
And cut.
Cut. There we go.
All right. So there we go.
Great. Thank you.
The kids just handled that whole recording last session right there. I didn't do anything. So we're gonna go File, Save Sample As.
Can we make mine short?
Oop! You can see now it's back out of where we were. That's so strange. I don't know why it does and doesn't go to the right folder we want.
Wow.
You know, we might be able to cheat here. Is go to our recent, and then that's a faster way. And that way, that's a good way. Look. Okay, so that's a little trick. When this opens up, you can go to your quick access, and if you've accessed folders recently that were in recorded, you don't have to do the roundabout way that I've been doing it. Okay, so, or you could also probably make a network place that's always there. What was this called?
Bobby.
Bye-bye.
Or Baba, whatever you want to do. Bobby.
Okay, so I think we're about ready to wrap it up. What do you think?
Yeah, probably.
So this is recording some basic vocals.
I think we did quite a lot of vocals in one video.
We even did some keyboard recording too, huh?
That is true.
All right, so what we're hoping to do, the first thing we had to do was learn the music software. So we learned the music software, and then we had pieces of fully assembled music, which we were able to learn how to cut into pieces and reassemble into mixes. Because one of the most important things before you can make music is to have different elements, and how do you combine elements over each other, and how do you do sound levels. And so now that we have the basics of mixing somebody else's work, hopefully someday we'll actually be able to use all of our own instruments and all of our own vocalizations that we've made, and we'll make a song that's genuinely ours.
And let's hope I can find my harmonica.
Yeah, you know, harmonica would sound good too. So anyway, my big dream is to pull together all kinds of sounds that represent the entire world of sound, the entire world of instruments, and the entire world of people. And we're going to assemble the perfect piece of music, the perfect piece that has everything in it, just like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure. It'll be the piece of music that'll bring peace on earth. Right, what do you think? That's a good endeavor, I think. Okay, so that's our goal. We'll see if we can reach it. If not, we'll at least try to make some music that can be listened to.
Overdone.
Yes, I call it my overdub. I like to make music that is incredibly complicated and has too much going on, and all of my music is best heard with a good set of headphones. Oh, she's already asleep? Oh boy. Okay, we gotta be quiet. We gotta say goodnight. Good night, everyone. So let me go in the video here. Thank you very much to everybody. Thank you to Jabadub. Let's list out Jabadub. It is Mr. B, Rasta Mama, and Dino Dub Selecta. And so Dino Dub Selecta makes all the mixes, and then Rasta Mama and Mr. B are the two singers, and I bet they probably also perform some of the instruments. Probably true. So anyway, go check out their website. I'll have it below. They have a new album coming out in December, which I'm looking forward to listening to. I just got to see pictures of the new album artwork. It looks great. And I got to hear a small piece of the actual, they're doing an actual record. So that's really cool. So they're putting out a record, a physical record you can buy. So anyway.
I'm going to make a record. Anyways, bye everyone.
Bye.
Good night. They say